The vast emptiness of space suddenly lit up. A massive fleet of ships appeared out of nowhere. They were heading straight for Earth. This was the Galactic Empire, and they had their eyes set on a new prize. On Earth, it was just another day. People went about their lives, unaware of what was coming. In a small observatory in Chile, Dr. Maria Rodriguez peered into her telescope. She rubbed her eyes, not believing what she saw. "This can't be right," she muttered. But the readings were clear. Something big was approaching Earth, and fast. Dr. Rodriguez picked up her phone with shaky hands. She called her boss, then the government. Within hours, the news spread like wildfire. In New York, Tom was sipping his morning coffee when his phone buzzed. A news alert popped up. Vorey King. Alien fleet approaching Earth. He nearly dropped his mug. All around the world, similar scenes played out. People stared at their screens in disbelief. Some panicked, rushing to stores to stock up on supplies. Others stood in the streets, looking up at the sky. World leaders scrambled to respond. The United Nations called an emergency meeting. In the Grand Hall, representatives from every country gathered, their faces pale with worry. "We must remain calm," the Secretary General said, but his voice trembled. "We are facing the greatest challenge in human history." Meanwhile, in orbit around Earth, satellites picked up clear images of the alien fleet. The ships were massive, unlike anything humans had ever built. They gleamed in the sunlight, a mix of metal and strange, glowing materials. Scientists worked around the clock to analyze the data. In labs across the globe, they studied the alien ships' energy signatures, trying to understand their technology. Dr. Yuki Tanaka in Japan made a breakthrough. "Look at these readings," she told her team, pointing at a screen. "Their power source. It's like nothing we've ever seen." As the aliens drew closer, Earth's militaries went on high alert. Fighter jets took to the skies. Missile defense systems were activated. But deep down, everyone knew their weapons might be useless against such advanced technology. In a small town in Kansas, Sarah watched the news with her family. Her young son, Billy, tugged at her sleeve. "Mom, are the aliens friendly?" Sarah hugged him tight. "I don't know, sweetie. I hope so." The alien fleet entered the solar system. They passed Jupiter, then Mars. Each day, they grew larger in Earth's telescopes. The wait was unbearable. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the Galactic Empire arrived. Their ships filled the sky, blocking out the sun in some places. People around the world stood in awe, a mix of fear and wonder on their faces. For a moment, everything was silent. Then, a message boomed from the sky in every language on Earth. "People of Earth, we are the Galactic Empire. Your planet is now under our control. Resist, and you will be destroyed." The message played on repeat. In cities and villages, in deserts and jungles, everyone heard it. The reality sank in. Humanity was no longer alone, and their visitors were not friendly. Governments tried to respond, but their signals were blocked. The aliens' technology was far beyond Earth's capabilities. In Washington, D.C., the president addressed the nation. "My fellow Americans, indeed all citizens of Earth, we face a threat unlike any in our history, but we will not give up. We will not surrender. Together, we will find a way." Similar speeches echoed around the world. For the first time in history, all of humanity was united against a common enemy. As night fell, people looked up at the alien ships with a mix of emotions. Fear, yes, but also determination. The human spirit was strong. They had faced challenges before and overcome them. In her lab, Dr. Rodriguez studied the alien fleet. "There has to be a way," she said to herself. "We just need to find it." The Galactic Empire had arrived, thinking Earth would be an easy conquest. But they were about to learn that humans were full of surprises. The battle for Earth was just beginning, and humanity was ready to fight for its freedom. The world changed overnight. With alien ships hanging in the sky, Earth's leaders knew they had to act fast. They called for a global summit like no other in history. In Geneva, Switzerland, presidents, prime ministers, and kings from every nation gathered. The meeting room buzzed with nervous energy. Old enemies sat side by side, united by a common threat. "We must work together," said the Chinese president, looking around the room. "Our differences mean nothing now." The U.S. president nodded in agreement. "It's time to share all our secrets, all our technology. The future of Earth depends on it." For 3 days, they talked and planned. They formed a new organization, the Earth Defense Council. Its mission was simple but huge: save humanity. Meanwhile, scientists around the world were hard at work. In a secret lab under the Alps, Dr. Hans Schmidt led a team studying alien technology. "Look at this," he exclaimed, pointing to a screen. "Their ships use a kind of energy we've never seen before." His colleague, Dr. Aisha Patel, leaned in for a closer look. "If we could understand this, we might have a chance," she said. In military bases across the globe, soldiers trained day and night. They learned new tactics, preparing to fight an enemy from the stars. General Maria Gonzalez watched her troops with pride and worry. "We're facing beings who can travel between stars," she told her officers. "But remember, humanity has overcome the impossible before." The people of Earth didn't sit idle either. In cities and towns, they built underground shelters. Farmers worked overtime, storing food for the tough times ahead. Everyone did their part. In New York, Tom joined a neighborhood watch group. They patrolled the streets, keeping calm and helping those in need. "We're all in this together," he told a scared family, helping them carry supplies to their home. Sarah, in her small Kansas town, started teaching survival skills to kids. "Knowledge is power," she told them. "The more we know, the better our chances." As days passed, a global defense system took shape. In deserts, mountains, and deep in the oceans, powerful new weapons were built. These weren't ordinary guns or missiles. They were designed to fight a high-tech alien force. Dr. Yuki Tanaka led the team creating Earth's new shield. "If it works," she explained to world leaders, "it will protect us from their advanced weapons." The shield was Earth's best hope. Teams worked around the clock to finish it. Every country contributed resources and brainpower. But it wasn't just about defense. Earth needed a way to communicate with the aliens. Linguists and code breakers worked tirelessly to understand the alien language from the few messages they sent. Dr. Rodriguez, now leading a global team of astronomers, made a startling discovery. The alien fleet, she announced in a worldwide broadcast. "It's not just one group. There are different factions. Maybe we can use that to our advantage." This news gave people hope. If the aliens weren't united, maybe Earth had a chance. 30 days after the aliens arrived, Earth was transformed. New technologies appeared every day. People learned new skills. The whole planet was united in a way never seen before. In orbit, satellites watched the alien fleet. The ships hadn't moved, but they were active. Lights flashed across their hulls. Sometimes, smaller ships zoomed between the larger ones. On the ground, people waited and prepared. In homes around the world, families stocked up on food and water. They listened to daily updates, hoping for good news. The Earth Defense Council met again. The room was tense but determined. "We've done all we can to prepare," said the Secretary General. "Now we must make contact." They drafted a message to the Galactic Empire. It was respectful but firm. Earth would not surrender. Earth was ready to talk, but also ready to defend itself. As the message was sent towards the alien fleet, the world held its breath. The next move belonged to the Galactic Empire. But whatever came next, Earth was as ready as it could be. The greatest challenge in human history was about to begin. And humanity, united and prepared, was ready to face it. The world waited in tense silence. Earth's message had been sent to the alien fleet, And now everyone wondered what would happen next. Days passed, and the giant ships hung motionless in the sky. Then, without warning, it happened. A bright light flashed from the largest alien ship. A small craft, sleek and shiny, detached from the fleet and began descending towards Earth. "They're coming," shouted a watchman in New York. Similar cries echoed around the globe as people spotted the alien ship. The Earth Defense Council quickly chose a meeting place, a wide open field in neutral Switzerland. As the alien craft approached, world leaders gathered nervously. The ship landed silently, stirring up a cloud of dust. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a soft hiss, a door opened. 3 tall figures stepped out. The aliens were nothing like humans expected. They stood on 2 legs but had 4 arms. Their skin shimmered like polished metal, and their eyes glowed softly. They wore no spacesuits, breathing Earth's air easily. Dr. Rodriguez, watching from a nearby tent, gasped. "They're adapted to our atmosphere," she whispered to her colleagues. "They must have studied us for a long time." The lead alien stepped forward. In perfect English, it spoke. "We are the Galactic Empire. We claim this world as ours." The U.S. President, chosen to speak for Earth, stepped forward. His voice shook slightly, but he stood tall. "Earth welcomes you, but we are not yours to claim. We are a free world." The alien's eyes flashed. "You misunderstand. We do not ask. We take." A tense silence fell over the field. The alien continued, "Your weapons are primitive. Your technology is centuries behind ours. Surrender now, and we will be merciful." The Chinese president spoke up. "We may be behind in technology, but we are not weak. We will defend our home." The alien looked amused. "Defend? With what? We have watched you. We know your strengths and weaknesses." As they talked, Dr. Tanaka was busy in a nearby lab. She whispered excitedly to her team. "Their ship, the energy readings. We can use this." Back at the meeting, the aliens made their demands clear. Earth would surrender all its resources. Humans would become workers for the Empire. Those who obeyed would live. Those who resisted would be eliminated. The world watched in horror as the aliens outlined their plans. In homes and shelters, people hugged their loved ones, fear in their eyes. But the Earth's leaders stood firm. The German chancellor spoke up. "We have a counteroffer. Leave our planet in peace, or face the consequences." The aliens laughed, a strange metallic sound. "Consequences? You are like insects to us." Suddenly, Dr. Tanaka burst into the meeting. "We've cracked it," she shouted. She handed a tablet to the Japanese Prime Minister, whispering urgently. The Prime Minister's eyes widened. He quickly shared the information with the other leaders. A spark of hope lit up their faces. The lead alien, noticing the change, stepped forward menacingly. "What is this? What are you planning?" The U.S. President smiled for the first time. "You said you know our strengths and weaknesses. I don't think you do." He nodded to Dr. Tanaka, who pressed a button on her tablet. Instantly, the alien ship's engines flared to life. It rose into the air, out of the aliens' control. The aliens stepped back, shock clear on their faces. "Impossible," the leader hissed. "Not for us," Dr. Tanaka said proudly. "We may be behind you in some ways, but humans are quick learners." The Earth's leaders stood together, a united front. The U.S. President spoke again. "Here's our message to your empire. Earth is not for sale. Earth is not for taking. We reject your demands." He paused, looking the alien leader in the eye. "We have only one thing to say to the Galactic Empire. No entry." The aliens, for the first time, looked uncertain. They glanced at their ship, hovering beyond their reach, then back at the humans. The leader spoke, its voice less confident now. "This isn't over. The Empire will not be denied." As the aliens retreated to their ship, now under Earth's control, a cheer went up around the world. The first confrontation was over, and against all odds, humanity had held its ground. But everyone knew this was just the beginning. The Galactic Empire had been denied, and their response was sure to come. Earth had made its stand. Now, it had to prepare for the real battle ahead. The world buzzed with excitement after the first alien encounter. Humans had stood their ground. And for a moment, it felt like a victory. But the leaders of Earth knew better. This was just the beginning. In the days that followed, the Earth Defense Council worked nonstop. They'd met in a secret underground bunker, safe from prying alien eyes. The room was filled with screens showing the alien fleet still hovering above. "We've made our stand," said the Indian Prime Minister, her voice firm. "Now we must prepare for their response." The others nodded in agreement. They knew the Galactic Empire wouldn't take Earth's defiance lightly. As they talked, a young Abe burst into the room. "Urgent news," he shouted, out of breath. "The aliens? They're sending a message to every device on Earth." Screens around the world lit up. TVs, phones, computers, all showed the same thing. The alien leader's face appeared, its metallic skin gleaming. "People of Earth," it said, its voice cold and angry, "you have refused our generous offer. Now you will face the consequences. Surrender now, or be destroyed." The message ended, leaving millions in fear, but the Earth Defense Council was ready. The U.S. President stood up, straightening his tie. "It's time," he said. "Let's show them what humanity can do." Across the globe, a plan sprang into action. It was something they had been working on in secret, a unified Earth government. In a live broadcast watched by billions, leaders from every nation stood together. The German Chancellor spoke first. "Today, we put aside our differences. Today, we are not many countries, but one planet. We announced the formation of the United Earth Alliance." People cheered in the streets. For the first time in history, all of humanity was truly united. But unity was just the start. Earth had more surprises for the Galactic Empire. In a hidden facility deep in the Amazon rainforest, Dr. Rodriguez unveiled humanity's secret weapon. It was a device that could disrupt the aliens' technology. "We reverse-engineered it from their own ship," she explained to the newly formed Earth Alliance military. "It's not perfect, but it's our best shot." General Gonzalez nodded, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. "Mass produce it," she ordered. "We'll need one for every soldier." Meanwhile, in orbit, astronauts worked tirelessly. They were building Earth's first line of defense, a network of satellites armed with the new disruptor technology. Back on the ground, cities transformed. Buildings were reinforced, underground shelters expanded. Every citizen was given a role in Earth's defense. In New York, Tom helped set up community defense teams. "Remember," he told his neighbors, "we're not just fighting for our city or country. We're fighting for our entire species." In her Kansas town, Sarah trained people in emergency first aid. "We don't know what's coming," she said, "but we'll be ready for it." 30 days after the aliens' ultimatum, Earth was ready to respond. The leaders of the United Earth Alliance gathered once more. The Brazilian president, chosen to deliver Earth's message, stood before a global audience. Her voice was strong and clear. "To the Galactic Empire, we say this: Earth is our home. We will not surrender it. We will not bow to threats. You gave us an ultimatum, and now we give you ours." She paused, her eyes flashing with determination. "Leave our solar system now. Earth is off limits. This is our final warning." As she spoke, Earth's new defense grid activated. A shimmering shield became visible around the planet, a clear sign of humanity's resolve. In space, the alien fleet stirred. Lights flashed across their ships as they received Earth's message. On Earth, people held their breath. In homes, in shelters, in military bases, everyone waited to see what would happen next. The Earth Alliance leaders stood together, watching the alien ships on their screens. They had done all they could to prepare. Earth was as ready as it could be. Now, it was the Galactic Empire's move. Would they retreat, realizing Earth wasn't the easy target they thought? Or would they attack, starting a war that would decide the fate of humanity? As the world waited, one thing was clear. Humanity had found its strength. United and defiant, Earth was ready to fight for its future. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. Earth had given its ultimatum to the Galactic Empire. And now everyone waited to see what would happen next. They didn't have to wait long. The alien fleet suddenly burst into action. Hundreds of smaller ships poured out from the larger ones, descending towards Earth like angry hornets. "They're attacking," shouted the watch officer at Earth's Defense Command Center. Alarms blared across the planet. General Gonzalez's voice boomed over the global communication system. "This is not a drill. All defense units, engage." Earth's newly built defense grid sparked to life. The shield, a shimmering blue barrier, enveloped the planet. As the alien ships approached, they slammed into it. Many exploded on impact, lighting up the sky. But the Galactic Empire was powerful. Their larger ships fired strange, pulsing beams that started to eat through the shield. Dr. Tanaka, watching from her lab, gasped. "They're using some kind of energy we've never seen before." She frantically typed on her computer, trying to adapt the shield. On the ground, things were chaotic. In New York, Tom led his community defense team to the shelters. They helped people stay calm as the ground shook from nearby impacts. "Stay together," he shouted over the noise. "We've prepared for this." In her small Kansas town, Sarah treated the first of the injured. As she worked, she glanced at the sky, watching alien and human ships battle above. The Earth Alliance's secret weapon, the disruptor technology, was put to the test. Human fighters, though far fewer in number, managed to take down several alien ships. The disruptors scrambled the alien tech, causing them to spin out of control. But the aliens had numbers on their side. More and more ships broke through the weakening shield. They landed in major cities, deploying strange walking machines that began to march through the streets. In London, the aliens met fierce resistance. British troops, armed with disruptor rifles, engaged in street-to-street combat with the invaders. The aliens' advanced weapons were fearsome, but the humans' determination was stronger. Similar scenes played out around the world. In Tokyo, in Rio, in Cairo, humanity fought back with everything it had. At the Earth Defense Council's bunker, leaders watched the battle unfold with grim faces. The Russian president slammed his fist on the table. "We need to do something more." That's when Dr. Rodriguez burst in. "I have an idea," she said, out of breath. "But it's risky." She explained quickly. They could use the captured alien ship to deliver a computer virus directly into the heart of the Empire's fleet. It might shut down their systems, but it would require a suicide mission. The room fell silent. It was a big risk, but it might be their only chance. The Chinese president stood up. "I volunteer my best pilot for this mission," he said solemnly. Others quickly followed suit. Soon, a team was assembled. The best pilots from around the world, ready to sacrifice everything for Earth. As the battle raged on, the mission was launched in secret. 5 brave pilots boarded the captured alien ship, carrying the virus that was Earth's last hope. They shot into space, weaving through the chaos of the battle. Alien ships fired at them, but the Earth pilots were skilled. They dodged and rolled, pushing ever closer to the main alien ship. On Earth, millions watched on screens, holding their breath. The fate of humanity rested on this one desperate gamble. The alien ship, carrying Earth's heroes, disappeared into the belly of the Empire's massive mothership. For a moment, everything seemed to pause. Then suddenly, the alien ships began to falter. Their lights flickered, their weapons fell silent. Slowly, they started to drift aimlessly in space. In the command center, Dr. Tanaka's eyes widened. "It worked," she shouted. "The virus worked." A cheer went up around the world. The alien invasion had been stopped. against all odds. But the victory was bittersweet. The brave pilots who delivered the virus didn't return. They had given their lives to save humanity. As the dust settled, Earth began to assess the damage. The battle had been won, but the war might not be over. The Galactic Empire had been defeated for now, but would they return? One thing was certain: humanity had proven itself. Against the most powerful force in the galaxy, Earth had stood its ground. The future was uncertain, but Earth was ready to face it, united and strong. The skies above Earth were eerily quiet. The massive alien ships hung motionless, their lights dark. On the ground, people emerged from shelters, looking up with a mix of fear and hope. In the Earth Defense Council's bunker, leaders gathered around screens showing the disabled alien fleet. The U.S. president broke the tense silence. "We've won the battle, but the war isn't over." General Gonzalez nodded grimly. "The virus bought us time, but we don't know how long it will last. We need to act fast." Dr. Rodriguez stepped forward, her eyes bright with an idea. "What if we could use their own ships against them?" The room buzzed with excitement as she explained her plan. Earth's scientists would try to take control of the alien fleet while it was vulnerable. It was risky, but it might be their only chance to truly defeat the Galactic Empire. Teams of engineers and soldiers were quickly assembled. Using shuttles, they cautiously approached the dormant alien ships. Dr. Tanaka led the tech team, ready to hack into the alien systems. As they worked, Earth held its breath. In cities around the world, people gathered in squares, watching giant screens for updates. In New York, Tom organized a community watch, keeping an eye out for any alien stragglers. In her Kansas town, Sarah helped set up a field hospital, treating those injured in the battle. As she worked, she listened to the radio for news of the mission. Hours passed. Then, a shout came over the global communication system. "We're in." Dr. Tanaka's voice was triumphant. "We have control of the main ship." Cheers erupted worldwide. But the celebration was short-lived. Alarms suddenly blared in the command center. "The aliens are waking up," someone shouted. The virus was wearing off faster than expected. General Gonzalez's voice boomed over the comms. "All teams, evacuate now. Get back to Earth." But Dr. Tanaka and her team didn't move. "We're so close," she said. "We can't give up now." As alien systems came back online, Dr. Tanaka and her team raced against time. Their fingers flew over alien controls, trying to lock the Empire out of their own ships. On Earth, military leaders prepared for the worst. They readied what defenses they had left, expecting another attack at any moment. But the attack never came. Instead, the alien ships began to move. Slowly at first, then faster, they started to leave Earth's orbit. In the command center, confusion turned to joy as they realized what was happening. Dr. Tanaka's voice came over the comms, tired but happy. "We did it. We've taken control of their fleet." The Earth Defense Council watched in awe as the massive alien ships, now under human control, moved away from Earth. It was a turning point in the war. But the victory came at a cost. As the last ship left orbit, Dr. Tanaka made a difficult announcement. "We can't bring the ships back," she said. "The alien systems are too unstable. We have to take them far away from Earth to keep our planet safe." The world fell silent as they realized what this meant. Dr. Tanaka and her brave team were sacrificing themselves to ensure Earth's safety. As the ships disappeared into deep space, Earth began to celebrate its hard-won freedom. In every city, every town, people poured into the streets. They hugged strangers, cried tears of joy, and looked to the sky not with fear, but with pride. In the weeks that followed, the world began to rebuild. The alien technology left behind was studied and adapted. Earth's defenses grew stronger each day. The United Earth Alliance, formed in crisis, now led the planet into a new age. Old conflicts were set aside as humanity focused on its future among the stars. In New York, Tom helped organize cleanup efforts, clearing alien debris from the streets. "We're not just rebuilding our city," he told volunteers. "We're building a new world." In Kansas, Sarah trained new medics, preparing for whatever challenges might come next. "We faced the worst and survived," she said. "Nothing can stop us now." As Earth looked to the future, the Galactic Empire's threat loomed in the background. They had been defeated, but for how long? Earth had won its freedom, but the galaxy was vast and full of unknown dangers. Yet, for the first time, humanity faced these challenges not with fear, but with confidence. They had stood against the mightiest force in the galaxy and emerged victorious. Whatever came next, Earth was ready. 5 years had passed since Earth's victory over the Galactic Empire. The planet had changed in ways no one could have imagined before the invasion. In New York, Tom stood on the observation deck of the new Earth Defense Tower. The city skyline was different now, a mix of human and adapted alien architecture. He smiled, remembering the day they had driven the aliens from the streets. "Hard to believe how far we've come," he said to Sarah, who stood beside him. She nodded, her eyes on the busy spaceport in the distance. Sarah had moved from Kansas to join the new Earth Space Force. Her medical skills were invaluable as humans began to explore beyond their planet. "We're not just surviving anymore," she said. "We're thriving." Down in the labs beneath the tower, Dr. Rodriguez and Dr. Tanaka worked tirelessly. They had returned heroes after their mission to hijack the alien fleet. Now they led Earth's efforts to understand and improve the alien technology left behind. "Look at this," Dr. Rodriguez said, pointing to a holographic display. "We've mapped out a large part of the galaxy using the alien star charts." Dr. Tanaka nodded, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "And our new ships are almost ready. We'll be able to explore it all soon." In the command center, General Gonzalez briefed the Earth Alliance leaders. The room was tense as she delivered her report. "We've detected signals," she said, pointing to a star map. "The Empire is rebuilding. They haven't forgotten us." The room fell silent. The Brazilian president spoke up, her voice firm. "Then we must be ready. Not just to defend, but to take our place in the galaxy." Agreement echoed around the room. Earth had learned its lesson. They would not wait to be attacked again. In orbit, the first of Earth's new starships prepared for its maiden voyage. It was a beautiful sight, sleek and powerful, a perfect blend of human ingenuity and alien technology. Captain Lee, chosen to lead this historic mission, addressed his crew. "We carry the hopes and dreams of our entire planet," he said. "We go not to conquer, but to explore and protect." As the ship lifted off, crowds gathered around giant screens in cities worldwide. They cheered as humanity took its first official step into the galactic community. But it wasn't all about space. On Earth, society had changed too. The unity forged in war had led to a new era of peace and cooperation. Old borders mattered less as people saw themselves as citizens of Earth first. In a small classroom in what used to be Kenya, a teacher used a holographic display to show her students the known galaxy. "Who knows?" she said with a smile. "One of you might be the first human to set foot on a world beyond our solar system." The children's eyes widened with wonder. For them, the galaxy wasn't a place of fear, but of endless possibility. Back in New York, Tom and Sarah watched the starship disappear into the distance. "Do you think we'll find others out there?" Sarah asked. "Other civilizations?" Tom nodded. "I hope so. And this time, we'll be ready to meet them as equals." In the deepest part of the defense tower, a special committee met in secret. They were the guardians of Earth's most powerful weapon, the knowledge of the Empire's weaknesses. "We must be cautious," one member said. "We have the power to defeat the Empire for good, but at what cost?" The others nodded solemnly. Earth's leaders had vowed never to become the very thing they had fought against. They would defend, but not conquer. As night fell, The stars seemed brighter somehow. People looked up not with fear, but with hope and curiosity. Earth was no longer alone in the universe, no longer helpless. In homes and labs, in spaceports and schools, the people of Earth worked towards their future. They faced challenges, yes, but they faced them together, with the confidence of a species that had stared down the greatest threat in the galaxy and survived. The Galactic Empire was still out there, still a threat. But Earth was ready. Ready to stand its ground, ready to forge alliances, ready to make its mark on the galaxy. As Captain Lee's voice crackled over the global comm system, announcing the starship's successful jump to light speed, a new chapter in human history began. Earth was no longer just a small blue planet in a vast, unknown galaxy. It was a rising power, a defender of freedom, a new hope in the cosmic night. The galaxy would never be the same again.